She told me, "I think we should take a break," right before her ex moved back to town. I said, "Okay." 6 months later, she texted wanting to talk. I replied, "I'm seeing someone else now." She showed up at my door that night. I, 28 male, need to get this off my chest because I'm still processing what happened. My friends are divided on whether I went too far, but I believe I did what was necessary to protect myself. Rachel and I were together for 3 years. We lived together for the last year and a half. On the surface, things were good. But looking back, I can see the cracks I chose to ignore. The way she'd get intensely anxious if I didn't text back within the hour. The flashes of jealousy over female friends she'd had since day one. They were small things, easy to dismiss. Then one night in February, she hits me with the, "We need to talk" line. She was staring at her phone, not me. "I think we should take a break," she said. "A break?" I asked, confused. "What's wrong?" "I just need some space to figure things out. It's not you, it's me." The oldest line in the book, but here's the context. Her ex, Marcus, had just moved back to town. She'd mentioned it casually a week earlier, but her tone was off. "Oh, Marcus got a job here, isn't that weird?" Weird indeed. I didn't argue, didn't beg. A part of me was tired of walking on eggshells. I just said, "Okay." She looked up from her phone, genuinely surprised. "That's it? Just okay?" "You said you need space. I'll give you space." She moved out the next week, leaving half her stuff because it's just a break. Sure it was. Here's where the reality of legal obligations kicks in. The lease we signed was ironclad. Both our names were on it, making us equally liable for the entire rent until the term ended in 8 months. She assumed I'd just cover her half while she found herself. That was a wrong assumption. I immediately contacted our landlord. He was a professional, not a friend. He pointed to Clause 12 of our agreement. Both tenants are jointly and severally liable. "I don't care who pays it, as long as it's paid in full," he said. "If you want her off the lease, you both need to sign a lease termination agreement and pay a 2-month break fee. Otherwise, she's on the hook with you." I paid the full rent for the first month to protect my credit and avoid eviction. Then I sent Rachel a formal certified letter with a copy of the lease, highlighting her legal obligation for 50% of the rent. 2 weeks later, her Instagram confirmed my suspicions. A photo of her and Marcus at our favorite restaurant. The caption, "Sometimes life brings people back together." I screenshotted it, not out of pain but for my records. I texted her, "Hey, I sent you a letter regarding the lease. Since you've moved out, you still owe your half of the rent. If you want to be formally removed from the lease, we need to sign the termination agreement with the landlord." Her response, "Can't this wait? I'm really busy." "The rent is due on the 1st, I replied. "You are legally responsible for your share." Radio silence. She refused to meet or sign anything. So I documented every text, every post with Marcus, and every refusal to cooperate. After the 2nd month of her non-payment, I sent her a formal demand letter for 2 months of back rent, drafted using an online legal template. I sent it to her parents' house, her last known address. She called me, screaming, "What the hell is wrong with you?" "I'm following the lease terms," I said calmly. "The ones we both signed. You abandoned the apartment and your financial obligations." "You know I can't afford that." "Then you should come and sign the termination paperwork. Otherwise, this debt will go to collections and damage your credit." She came by the next day, seething. She signed the agreement. As she was leaving, she tried for a dramatic exit. "I can't believe you're being so cold about this." "You wanted a break," I said. "Breaks have consequences." Next, her belongings. The lease stated that property left for more than 30 days after a tenant vacates is considered abandoned. However, state law required the landlord to send a formal notice. I coordinated with him, and he sent the notice to her parents' address, giving her 15 days to retrieve her things. She ignored the notice, so I boxed up everything. I donated it to a local women's shelter and got an itemized receipt for tax purposes. I sent her a copy with a note, "Your things are helping women who are actually in need." Marcus texted me after that. "Dude, you have a problem." "No problem here," I replied. "Just following the law." Fast forward to May. I'm doing well. I started seeing someone new. Sarah, a teacher who communicates with a calm maturity that felt like a breath of fresh air. Life was good. Then the texts from Rachel started in June. Hey, how are you? Been thinking about us. I made a mistake. Can we talk? I replied once. I'm seeing someone else now. I wish you the best. 20 minutes later, she's at my door, banging on it. I opened it, leaving the chain on. It's 10 p.m., Rachel. She was a mess, mascara running down her face. You can't just move on like that. It's been 6 months since you left, Rachel. We were together for 3 years. We were, I emphasized. You ended it, remember? I said a break, not a breakup. A break where you immediately moved in with your ex? That's a breakup. She started crying, the ugly, gasping kind. Marcus and I broke up. He was a liar. That's unfortunate, I said, my voice flat. But has nothing to do with me. You need to leave. How can you be so cruel? I loved you. Rachel, my girlfriend is asleep upstairs. You are upsetting her, and you need to leave now before I call the police. That set her off. She started screaming about how I'd ruined her life, how I was petty, how I'd maliciously given away her things. I pulled out my phone. I'm calling the non-emergency line and filing a report for harassment. Leave. She left, but not before kicking the door and screaming that I'd regret this. I made the call and got a police report number, just in case. The next morning, I had 47 texts ranging from apologies to threats. I screenshotted them all, then blocked her number. The harassment escalated. She showed up at my gym. She bumped into me at my coffee shop. Then she crossed a line. She found out where I worked and called my boss, claiming we had a domestic situation and she was concerned about my mental stability. My boss, a decent guy, called me in. I showed him everything. The texts, the police report, the documentation of her non-payment. He was appalled. Get a restraining order, he said. Yesterday. I hired a lawyer who confirmed I had a strong case for harassment. She drafted a formal cease and desist letter, which we sent to Rachel's parents' house. Her dad called me, furious. She just wants closure, he yelled. Sir, she chose her closure when she left. I have moved on. Your daughter is harassing me, and if it continues, I will pursue a protective order. He hung up. The direct contact stopped, but she started a smear campaign on social media, posting vague accusations of emotional and financial abuse. Sarah, my girlfriend, was my rock, but I could see the toll it was taking. This is a lot, she said one night, her voice trembling slightly. It's starting to scare me, to be honest. Maybe your boss is right about that restraining order. She was right. I was being too passive. Update 1. 2 weeks later, my hesitation proved to be a mistake. Rachel escalated from attacking me online to attacking Sarah in the real world. She sent an anonymous, concerned parent email to the principal at the school where Sarah teaches. It was unhinged, rambling about my abusive patterns and how Sarah was endangering students by dating a dangerous man. The principal, who knew Sarah well, saw it for what it was but had to follow protocol. Sarah called me, not just angry but genuinely frightened. She tried to get me fired. This has gone too far. We are going to the police. Now. That was the final straw. I took the mountain of evidence, the texts, the social media posts, the false report to my boss, the email to Sarah's school, and we went to the police station together to file for an emergency protective order. The detective was blunt. This is textbook stalking and harassment. You have more than enough. They granted a temporary order that day pending a court hearing. A sheriff would serve her the papers within 48 hours. But that same night, before she was served, Rachel showed up at Sarah's apartment. Sarah called me, whispering and terrified. She's outside, parked across the street, just sitting in her car staring at my window. Call 911. I'm on my way, I said, my heart pounding. When I got there, 2 police cars were already present. Rachel was telling them she was just lost and pulled over to check her GPS. An officer recognized me from the report I'd filed earlier. Is this the individual named in your protective order filing? Yes, I said. And she is lying. This is my girlfriend's apartment. She has never been here before. She is stalking us. We are terrified of her. The fact that the order hadn't been technically served didn't matter. Her actions, showing up at night at the home of a person she'd been systematically harassing, constituted stalking. They arrested her. As they put her in the car, she screamed at me, "This is what you wanted, isn't it? To ruin my life?" I didn't respond. Sarah came outside, shaken but resolute. "You really know how to pick them," she said with a shaky laugh. "Formerly pick them," I corrected, putting my arm around her. Later that night, I got a call from an unknown number. It was Marcus. "You need to drop this," he said, his voice low and menacing. "You're making a huge mistake. You don't know what you're dealing with." "Is that a threat?" I asked. "It's advice. She's not well. Walk away before this gets uglier for everyone, especially your new girl." "Are you threatening my girlfriend?" I shot back. "Just telling you to be smart," he said, and hung up. The call wasn't about her well-being. It was an intimidation tactic. It felt like he was trying to cover his own tracks. I saved the call record and reported the contact to the detective. The hearing for the permanent order was a week later. Rachel showed up with a lawyer who tried to paint me as a vindictive ex. But my lawyer dismantled their narrative, presenting a clear, chronological timeline of harassment. The judge wasn't interested in the relationship drama. He looked at the police reports, the email to Sarah's principal, the stalking incident. "Miss Rachel's last name," he said. "Your behavior is not that of a heartbroken ex, it is that of a criminal harasser. The protective order is granted for 2 years. Rachel broke down, a hollowed-out version of the woman I once loved. Seeing her like that felt shitty. There was no victory, just a profound sense of loss and relief. Sarah was waiting for me. "It's done? It's done. Good," she said, squeezing my hand. "Now we can move on." Update 2. 3 months passed, quiet, normal months. Then I got a call from my lawyer. "Rachel's lawyer contacted me," she said. "She is requesting a formal, mediated meeting, both of us present." "Absolutely not," I said. "Hear me out. She claims she has information about Marcus that is now part of a criminal investigation. She's willing to sign a 5-year extension on the protective order in exchange for one 15-minute meeting to give you context she claims you deserve." Sarah was adamant. "You owe her nothing. It's a trap." "It's not for her," I argued. "It's for us. A 5-year guarantee of peace. And if she's lying, our lawyers are witnesses." Reluctantly, we agreed. The meeting was held in a conference room at my lawyer's office. Rachel looked healthier, calmer. "Thank you for agreeing to this," she began. "I have spent the last 3 months in intensive therapy. I am not here to ask for forgiveness, but to offer an explanation." She took a breath. "Marcus didn't just reappear in my life. He blackmailed me. He had intimate videos of me from when we dated before. He threatened to send them to my family and my work if I didn't leave you and get back with him." My stomach turned. "What?" I was terrified and ashamed. "I should have told you. I should have gone to the police. But I thought I could handle it myself. Give him what he wanted until he got bored and deleted them. I thought I was protecting you." "The Instagram posts?" "He made me post them, to make it look real," she said, tears welling in her eyes. "When he dumped me, my plan had failed, and I'd lost you for nothing." I had a complete mental breakdown. That's not an excuse for what I did next. My terrorizing you and Sarah was inexcusable. I was a victim who made victims of you both, and I will have to live with that forever. "Why should I believe you?" I asked, my voice hoarse. Her lawyer slid a document across the table. It wasn't screenshots. It was a copy of an official police report she had filed against Marcus for extortion and blackmail, dated 2 months prior. The report listed me as a collateral victim. "They are building a case against him," she said quietly. "I needed you to know the truth, not to change anything, but because you didn't deserve to be left with a lie." Her lawyer spoke. "As agreed, my client will sign the 5-year extension. She has also written letters of apology to you and to Miss Sarah. We will only send them with your consent." The meeting ended. I felt hollowed out. I told Sarah everything that night. She listened, her expression a mixture of horror and resolve. "That's monstrous," she said. "What he did to her is a crime. But she's right about one thing. It doesn't excuse what she did to us. The fear she caused was real. My sympathy for her has its limits." She was right. I accepted the 5-year extension. We consented to receive the letters. But that was the end of it. The chapter was closed. Update 3. It's been 2 months since the meeting. Marcus was arrested in another state. Turns out, Rachel wasn't his only victim. He blackmailed at least 4 other women. He's facing a long list of felony charges. Rachel testified against him. The apology letters arrived via our lawyers. They were raw and honest. Rachel took full responsibility for the trauma she caused, explaining her breakdown without using it as a shield. Sarah read hers and said, "I'm glad she's getting help. I hope she finds peace. but I'm also glad for that 5-year order. We moved in together last month, a new place, a fresh start. Last week, I ran into Rachel's mom at the grocery store. I tensed up, but she approached me cautiously. "I won't keep you," she said, her voice strained. I just needed to say, what happened, it was for the best. Her therapist said she had to hit rock bottom to start climbing. The arrest, the order, it forced her to get the help she desperately needed for her anxiety and depression. "I'm glad to hear she's doing better," I said, and I meant it. "She is," her mom said with a sad smile. "Thank you." She turned and walked away. It wasn't a neat, happy ending. It was an awkward, painful acknowledgement of a shared disaster. Here's what I've learned. Red flags are warnings. A partner's intense anxiety or jealousy isn't a sign of passion. It's a sign of instability that can curdle into something dangerous. Taking a break is a conversation, not a declaration. If someone won't give you reasons, their silence is the reason. Document everything. Protect yourself legally. It's not about being petty. It's about being prepared. Involve professionals. Don't try to handle stalking or harassment yourself. Lawyers and law enforcement are tools for your safety. Mental illness explains behavior. It does not excuse it. Someone can be both a victim and a perpetrator. You are not obligated to absorb their trauma or forgive their abuse. Closure is a myth. It doesn't come from one conversation. It's built over time, with distance and new, healthier experiences. Rachel's 5-year order is in effect. Marcus is going to prison. Sarah and I are building a quiet, stable life. It's not a happy ending or a sad one. It's just an ending that gave way to new beginnings. Trust your gut, protect yourself, and never let someone make their crisis your emergency. I'm closing this account now. The past is in the past. Thanks for listening.